Hey guys, it's Britt. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I wanted to... I always wake up from these naps and I'm like... Oh, I'm sorry. I get up so damn early now with my new position at my work. It's like crazy. Let me scoot back. So I wanted to talk to you guys about the dark realities of being a sugar baby and how it affects you mentally, and how I became involved with being a sugar baby and escorting, and it's just a very crazy situation. So when I was 20 years old, it's about the time I started experimenting with drugs. And by drugs, I mean cocaine. I'm sure this video is going to get demonetized. I don't care though. And so when I started getting involved with that, I ended up making some friends she was actually an escort here in town. Her name was Mandy. And she ended up giving me tips on how to get involved and how to get clients and all that. So when I was 20, obviously I was still identifying as like a gay twink, and I actually went by the escort name as Brad. Why? I don't know. And so yeah, I ended up starting to see clients. I think my first client I ever saw, it was a guy who had me meet him at like a hot tub place off of State Street. I don't even know if that place is still around. But yeah, it was so scary and nerve-wracking. And yeah, so that was the first time it ever happened. And after the first few times, it just became so easy. And at the time, I was not putting that money in savings. We were like doing an 8-ball of cocaine a night. We are doing whippets, ecstasy, drinking alcohol when we were trying to get to sleep. So it was a very, it was a crazy time. And so flash forward, I did that for about a year and a half, and it was very easy to get into it because of the sexual abuse I had as a kid. It just felt, I didn't have any thoughts about it, if that makes sense. So I end up, let's see. So years and years went by, right? So obviously the whole like drug thing, I kicked that in about 2 years. I wasn't really addicted to it, but I liked doing it, if that makes sense. But I just quit cold turkey. And I ended up getting into a relationship for 8 years, and when I moved back to Utah about 3.5, almost 4 years ago, I literally had nothing to my name. I had no car, no job, no friends. Like, I had left everything behind in Minneapolis, with my ex, even my animals. It's so tragic, you guys. And so I ended up getting back into escorting to get back on my feet, and it did help me get back onto my feet, but was the price really worth it? I'll get more into that in a little bit. So it was different for me to escort as a gay twink as it was a trans woman. I felt like as a trans woman, it was a lot more dangerous. There was a time when I almost got busted by the police. I was meeting a guy at a hotel downtown, and he was very, very sus. And so uh, he was asking me questions like what are like in the lobby because he didn't want to go up to the room right away, which I thought was really weird because I'm like, let's go someplace where we can talk, you know. And yeah, so he was asking me all kinds of questions, and I wasn't giving him answers. You know what I mean? Because I was trying to be careful. Because I was like, you have to be careful what you say so that you're not getting in trouble if it was like an undercover police. Um, but anyways, yeah, I ended up leaving, and I know for sure that guy was a cop. So luckily, I had enough wits about myself to leave, and not those are just some stories. I never had anything scary or bad happen to me, which I'm very, very fortunate. I wasn't raped or mugged or anything like that. But a lot of the clients I saw, they were into drugs. And after I had moved back to Utah, I am not into drugs, you guys. I don't smoke. I don't drink. I don't smoke weed. I don't do any drugs. Like, I'm past that point in my life. It's just not something I want to tango with anymore. It's just, I don't find it fun, if that makes sense. So, anyways, so yeah, I met quite a few nice guys that I actually still would be friends with. One of them actually passed away from cancer about 3 years ago. Well, no, a year and a half ago. Um, he, the last time I saw him as a client, he was like, I don't have enough money. I'm dealing with cancer. And at the time I'm like, yeah, right. Because I've heard every excuse in the book why you can't afford to pay me. And, yeah, so flash forward a year and a half after meeting him and having conversations. We were friends on Facebook, so he actually knew my real name, which my escorting name was Jessica Love. I don't know why I'm telling you guys this. But, yeah, he ended up actually dying of cancer, and I felt so awful that I didn't believe him. But the last time I saw him when he said he had cancer, he was acting like he was on meth, and I was like, I just, I didn't know what to believe, if that makes sense. And yeah, so enough about the stories of it. It's obviously I was able to make a lot of money in a short amount of time, but at what price? You know what I mean? Um, a lot of the people I would see would get upset because why is your rate so much more than this person's? And it's like, well, for one thing, I'm not a drug addict. You know, you get what you pay for. I'm a classy woman, so, well, as classy as a prostitute can be, if that makes sense. And, or escort, whatever you want to call it. I don't want to offend anyone that's a sex worker. I'm not for it. I'm not against it. I'm just neutral. But the repercussions of doing that, it has made it so, so hard to actually want to date anybody. Like, I can't trust anyone. My mind is still so focused on sex that when I meet someone, I automatically move towards that. So it's like I don't even want to get to, like, my my mind and brain are so fucked up from it, you guys. Um, like, for example, for me, like having sex and um, doing oral and all that, that's like no big deal to me. I'm like, meh, whatever. It's just like sex. But for me, like the more intimate things like kissing and cuddling, oh no, no, no. I will not do that with just anybody. Like, for me, that's a lot more intimate, a lot more personal. which doesn't really make sense because when you, like, it's fucked my head up so much that I just, I'm broken. And I don't know, you guys. I don't know why I wanted to make this video. I just really felt compelled to speak out, and I really honestly wish I never would have started escorting. Obviously, I don't do it anymore. I've moved on. I feel like I'm a much happier person without having to sell my body for money. It is tempting though, because like I said in my last video, I still have my Google Voice number where people can reach me. And, you know, getting these offers for like $800 an hour makes you want to be like, damn, that's like almost a full paycheck at work. You know what I mean? But it just makes me feel like a much stronger person to be able to say, I don't need this. It's not worth it. And I don't know, looking back at my life, I was a very sad girl, a very sad woman. You know what I mean? Like, I was empty inside, and I'm just barely starting to get that fire back into my soul, if that makes sense. I feel like I have been so drained mentally and emotionally from all of these men that I've seen that it just makes it so hard to trust anyone. You can't open up. You just feel like the only thing you're good for is sex. And so it's made dating very, very difficult. Like, I don't even know the last time I went on a date, you guys. I think it's actually been about 3 years since I've actually gone on a date. And I think it's because for me, the scariest thing is actually getting to know somebody. Because of the sexual abuse when I was a young kid from the bishop, it's made it very hard to trust people and open up. So yeah, I don't really know what to say. I don't know what the whole point of this video is, but I like being able to share my story with others, and hopefully by me sharing my story of like life events, I can help somebody make the right decision in life. If you are struggling with being a sex worker and you feel like that's all you're good for, that you'll never amount to anything, because I know for me, I felt like that's all I was good for. And it's still ingrained in my mind that all I'm good for is sex. And especially being transgender, you know, a lot of guys don't want to date you, but they want to hook up and sleep with you, but they don't want to be seen out in public with you. So even being trans and being a sex worker, it really, really messes with your head. Because not only are you experiencing it as a sex worker, you're experiencing it in the dating community. And so it's just like a double whammy. And so I can totally see why a lot of trans women have issues with suicide and feeling unhappy, because I've gone through it and now I can see the picture on the other side, if that makes sense. And I'm not telling you guys this, I'm not here for sympathy. Like, I'm a very strong woman. I know who I am. I went through everything that I've gone through in life for a reason, and it's made me who I am today. So I'm not like shaming anybody. That's not my intention at all. I'm just not looking for people to say, oh, I'm so sorry. But I want to be honest with you guys, and yeah. I don't really know what else to say, but yeah, the last time I've ever seen a client was 2 years ago. it was right before the pandemic. Um, I had actually drove all the way. I got off work at 9:30 p.m. I drove all the way to Logan to see one of my clients who is actually a college, what do they call him? A scout for a college. I'm not going to say which one, but I dealt with very high profile clients, and um, even though they don't respect me and they're paying for these things, I still don't want to cross any boundaries. I'm not looking to get anybody in trouble. But yeah, so what I did was I got off work at 9. I got home by 9:30. I had to shave my legs, put on makeup, clean myself up, and then I had to drive all the way to Logan from West Valley, which took about an hour. And so, or maybe it was an hour and a half. And I ended up getting there at around 11:30. And I spent about 2 hours with him, and then I had to turn around and drive all the way back home. And I was so freaking tired because I had just worked 10 hours that day. So then I drive all the way home, and by the time I got home, I think it was like 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, and I had to work the next morning at 7 a.m. And I think I slept an hour that night. And yeah, just the feeling, like I'm an empath, you guys, an intuitive empath, so it's hard for me to be around certain people because they like suck the energy out of you and then you feel so exhausted. If you know what I'm talking about, that's what it feels like to actually go and see clients, and you kind of have a little rush afterwards because you're like, I just made $1,000, but then at the same time, you're exhausted for like 2 days, like, and mentally you're fucked up, and yeah, so if there are any trans women, gay, twinks, just people in general that are thinking, I want to be a sugar baby, I hope that me sharing my story has persuaded you not to take that route in life. It is very tempting because of the money. It's easy money, but it is not worth it, you guys. You get sucked in, and before you know it, your entire life is consumed by sex work. And it's just tragic. And I wish I could go back to when I was 20 years old and talk to me and be like, you know, you don't need to do this. You're worth so much more than that. Like, it makes me very sad that the sexual trauma I've endured as a kid and then the sex work of the trauma it causes, like, people don't think about how much trauma it causes in your mind and your identity. But yeah, I wish I could go back and talk to me and just say, you know, stop this. You're worth so much more. But at the same time, it has made me a strong person, and I am grateful for everything I've gone through. Even the sexual abuse from the bishop, it has really made me such a strong, independent person, which has now made a huge downfall in my life because now I'm so independent, and I don't let anyone in. I can't let anybody in, you guys. It's even been, until the pandemic hit, I never realized how selfish I was as a person, you guys. I would hardly ever go see my family, and once the pandemic hit and I wasn't able to see them and I wasn't escorting, I was so lonely. It broke my heart to not be able to go see my brother on his birthday, or, you know, all these things. And I now realize how important family is, and I spend every day that I can with them. And I'm just so grateful to have them in my life. Like, I don't know what I'd do without them, you guys. I think about it every day, which is terrible, but I'm like, what if something happened to them? Like, I would literally have nothing in my life but myself. And that's so sad to me because my life is so boring, you guys. I literally have nothing but my family. I have my animals, I have my job. I mean, I'm very grateful to be in good health and have a great job and everything, but I am so longing for just love. And because of the 8-year dysfunctional relationship I went in that was abusive before I moved back here, that's also, I was wanting love so bad. I was willing to put up with being abused, verbally abused, and it's like all these things have compiled in my life, and now I'm afraid to trust anybody. And it's very, very sad. I'm sure I should go get counseling. But at the same time, the independent part of me is like, you don't need counseling. You'll get through this. You know what I mean? Yeah, I want love so bad now, you guys. But I'm not willing to sacrifice certain things that I'm looking for. Like, I don't care if you're a janitor. I don't care if you bust tables. All I'm looking for is a nice guy that loves me for me, you know, that actually wants to go out and be seen with me in public, that doesn't care about what people say when he's out with a trans woman. You know what I mean? And it's so hard to find. Every guy I've found, it's just, I don't even know where to find a nice guy that's into trans women, you guys. Because all the dating websites that are for trans women, they just want to hook up. And then because of my issues with sex work, my mind goes straight to sex when I find somebody I'm interested in. It's like a double-edged sword. So it's like, I tell them I'm looking for a relationship, but my actions are telling them otherwise. You know what I mean? But I'm not trying to get all sad and emotional with you guys, but I want you guys to see the reality of what sex work and stuff does to you, how it affects you. And yeah, I think that's about it for this video, you guys. I love you so, so much. Like, I love being able to engage with you guys and talk to you guys. Like, I can't even tell you guys how much it means when I get comments saying that, oh, this video has helped them, or when they reach out to me on Instagram and tell me that my story has helped them, and, you know, all this stuff. So even if this video can change one person's life, it makes it so worth being open and honest with you guys. And I know the topics I talk about on my channel are very taboo and looked down upon, and people probably judge, but like I've told you guys a million times, I am not afraid to be myself anymore. I am me, and I have no regrets as to who I am or what I've become. And yeah, so that's it for today. I hope you guys like my video. Subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell, and yeah, I just super appreciate everyone that tunes into all my videos and gives me support, comments. Like, it literally means the world. So thank you so much, you guys. You guys are like my therapist. That's what I tell you guys. But yeah, I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for watching. Every time I post a video, I just super appreciate it. So until next time, bye guys.